Alright, so these past few chapters in the Black Clover manga dealing with the Spade Kingdom War arc has been nothing but hype. And speaking of that hype, we finally saw Asta's new devil transformation, which is the Devil Union mode, which a lot of us has been anticipating for a while. And in chapter 282, we saw Asta show up and defeat the ancient demon of the Spade Kingdom. However, despite all the hype in the transformation, we really didn't see any new powers from Asta. Pretty much we just saw Black Divider, which we already know Asta can already do that. However, I feel as though Tabata didn't show any new powers of this Devil Union mode for a reason, because he is saving it for the big fight, which is Asta versus Dante. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing the future power-ups of Asta's Devil Union mode. And before we go any further, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notification bells on. We're so close to 30k, so let's get there. Now, let's get into this topic. Now, upon seeing Yuno's new transformation, Spirit of Boreas, and in that same process being able to pull off an impressive feat against Xenon, the already high expectations that we had for Asta's new devil transformation, his Devil Union mode, grew even higher because of Yuno. And since the official release of Black Clover Chapter 282 came out on Sunday, we finally get to see the transformation in full detail. If you guys seen my review on Friday, I said in that video I don't want to speak much on the design yet because we were reading from the unofficials and the unofficials are so dark. So now that I see it in full, this design looks awesome. I love it. Another thing that I noticed from the official release is that his headband actually changed. It looks like a crown, which I think is really dope. However, I did expect this Devil Union mode transformation from Asta to look more muscular, but it makes sense because Liebe is skinny, which is okay because I believe that Asta will have many variations of this transformation and many abilities that will come along with this Devil Union mode. So let's break it down. We found out from Nacht that Asta has been using his devil power transformations. The power itself just been trickling into him. The power itself has not been uniting with Asta. And that is why Nacht told Asta that in order for you to become even stronger, you need to completely unite with your devil to draw out all of his anti-magic power. And now that Asta has achieved this form, he is now limitless of the amount of abilities that he can do with anti-magic. We saw in chapter 273 that Asta actually achieved Devil Union mode against Nacht, and when he swung his sword at Nacht, he purposely missed, and even though Nacht didn't get hit, Asta was able to remove Nacht's Devil Union mode completely, which is extremely impressive because Asta just with one swing was able to remove Nacht's Devil Union mode and also his mana zone. However, Nacht told Asta that he was not ready yet because Asta was only in Devil Union mode for a moment. He did not master the form yet. And now in the most recent chapter, chapter 282, we see Asta achieve his Devil Union mode, but he states that he can only use this mode for only 5 minutes, which is nothing new in the story because ever since the beginning when Asta first achieved his devil transformation, there are always drawbacks to his power. In chapter 123, we saw Asta use his devil transformation to remove Kirsch Vermilion's cherry blossoms on the battlefield. Zora told him to use that form again, but Asta told him that once he uses this form, it takes a while for him to use that transformation again. That is why in chapter 129, he said that he can only use that form twice per day. And as the story progressed, Asta was able to use the form more than 2 times a day and also was able to be in that form even longer. So we already know that Devil Union, the more the story progressed, Asta will be able to be in this form even longer. One thing that's very interesting when Nacht starts to explain Devil Union, he states that using Devil Union lets me add the characteristics of each of my devils to my shadow magic. And we know that one of his devils, Gimodello, which makes a lot of sense because Gimodello is a dog devil. When Nacht uses his donkey devil, his characteristic trait is toughness. And when Nacht uses his cat devil, his characteristic trait is agility. The only devil characteristic trait we have not seen is his rooster devil. However, each of his devils are characteristic traits of his shadow magic when he's using his Devil Union mode. Every single devil of Nacht's have characteristic traits, and the way that Nacht described using Devil Union, saying that using Devil Union lets him add the characteristic traits of his devils to his shadow magic, makes me believe that this is not only exclusive to Nacht, but people that use Devil Union, which means that since devils have characteristic traits, and upon using Devil Union, you can bring out those traits. I believe the stronger that Asta and Liebe get together, learning and understanding their power, Asta will be able to bring out the characteristic traits of Liebe, which can lead into a new transformation. If Liebe had a characteristic trait, what exactly would it be? And I believe that if he did, it would be rage. When Liebe talked about that when he was in the grimoire, The whole time he was in there, he kept cursing devils, saying that he was going to kill them, he wouldn't forgive them. I swear it. And upon cursing these devils, inside that grimoire, he manifested anti-magic, even though Liebe had no magic powers to begin with. And even when we saw Asta versus Dante, when Ghosh got stabbed, Liebe raged out. We thought that this was mainly Asta that was raging, but it was more so Liebe because he thought about Lisita. We know that anti-magic was developed by Liebe all because of his rage and him cursing devils. Everything that is connected to his personality is rage. So I can see Asta tapping into Liebe's characteristic traits, which can lead into a new transformation, which probably would be more wild version than his Devil Union. Now I feel as though if Asta has a characteristic traits for each of his swords, then I feel as though transformations would be given, which would be a endless amount of transformations that Asta can use, because with his devil arm, he can just grab any weapon and can become anti-magic. We see him do that with Yami's katana. But Tabata could limit it to the original 3 swords that were from Licht. Now, speaking of the original 3 swords, one of them, the Demon Dweller's sword, is the one true sword that is more mysterious than any other sword, is the one true sword that Asta has not truly tapped into yet with its unique abilities. We saw how Licht was able to absorb Juno's Spirit Storm and was able to send it back with a attack spell, and we saw that Raya stated that that is one of the many abilities of the Demon Dweller's sword, meaning that there are other abilities of this sword that we didn't see from Licht and not even Asta. However, when it comes to Asta, since the swords are anti-magic, it's even more impressive and more interesting how he's able to use and steal magic from other people and can use it in a water slash attack like he did with Noel's water magic, but it had the same properties of anti-magic because when he used it on Mars, Mars flame recovery magic could not activate. He couldn't use his flames anymore, which shows that these swords allow Asta to use magic but also still in the form and property of anti-magic, which means that now that Asta can use his Devil Union mode and can draw all his power, I would not be surprised if one day Asta can use his Demon Dweller's sword and can absorb someone's magic and can cloak the magic around his whole body, which is not impossible because if the swords are anti-magic and can still hold magic within an anti-magic sword, then the anti-magic that's around and cloaked around Asta's body, he should be able to absorb the magic while holding a Demon Dweller's sword, and it should also go around him as well, which means Asta will be able to use magic temporarily. Now, what can make Asta potentially even stronger is him understanding the language in his grimoire. When Asta showed Julius his grimoire, he asked him, do you understand the writings on this grimoire? But Julius, however, he did not understand because the language is devil language. But Julius did not know that at the time. However, the interesting thing about this grimoire is that originally Licht was the owner. We saw in chapter 198 that Zagreus, one of his main goals was to get the 5-leaf clover grimoire. He says that now that he has his grimoire, he can manifest his true form and power as a devil in this world, which allow him to use his word soul magic, summoning things from the underworld, speaking in devil language, which makes a lot of sense. Why he was speaking in devil language? Because the grimoire had devil language written on it. And since Zagreus is from the underworld and is a devil, he knows the devil language. And Liebe, he's from the underworld and also a devil. It makes sense that he also knows the language as well. The same language that was on Zagreus' grimoire is the same language that's on Asta's grimoire. So one day in the future, I can see Liebe teaching Asta the writings that is on his grimoire and Asta speaking in the language of devils. But more so, since they are Devil Union mode, Liebe will be speaking it for Asta, but Asta will be able to tap into more spells that he didn't know existed within his grimoire. I also love how when Liebe and Asta were fighting, how Liebe was using the anti-magic swords, using the swords like telekinesis, and just sending all the swords at Asta. I can see Asta being able to use his swords just like that in the future, being able to use his swords all at once while fighting. The possibilities are endless, and another possibility is that if you subscribe to the channel with notification bells on, you will see even more videos, not just me talking about Asta, but more videos talking about other characters' power-ups as well. So, you guys have an awesome life. Take care of yourself. Stay blessed, and I'm out.